How do I practice gratitude? What's going on, you guys? Today we're going to talk about the principle of gratitude, the power that it has to make our lives happier, and I'm going to give you guys a couple suggestions on how you might put it into practice. What's going on, you guys? I'm Tyler, your Wandering Therapist. Excited to be here with you today. We're talking about gratitude today. This is one of the core principles of wholehearted living. It's something that I believe is something that can add richness and joy to our lives if we get in the habit of learning how to practice it and be able to be more in a state of finding gratitude in all aspects of our lives. I had a conversation come up in one of my groups this week about the concept of gratitude, and it happened to be in the context of something really hard that somebody was going through. So one of my group members was talking about some really difficult things that they were going through, and one of the other group members, after showing some empathy and some compassion, said, I might suggest that even in the midst of this really terrible situation that you're in, you might be able to decrease your own suffering and find more joy if there was a way to find some gratitude in the midst of this thing that you're going through. Now that's a hard skill to do. When we have challenges in our lives, we naturally tend to lean ourselves towards a negative slant on things because that's the way that we protect ourselves. That's a way that we try to cope with life sometimes, and sometimes we get in the habit of being so negative with things that we don't often pause to stop and look at what actually is going on really well in our lives. And we miss an opportunity. We miss an opportunity for growth. We miss an opportunity for a deeper sense of satisfaction and joy in our lives. And we also decrease our suffering when we're able to find gratitude, even in the midst of our challenges and our struggles. So one of the things that gratitude does is it shifts our way of being. It's not just something that I can say out loud, it's actually something that shifts us on a cellular physiological level. It allows our heart rate to slow down. It allows our blood vessels to open up. It allows us to meet the world with a sense of willingness instead of this sense of hopelessness or frustration. And you guys can think of a challenge in your own life, and let's see if we can apply this for just a minute. I remember many years ago, right when I had started my practice, I was brand new with my practice. I didn't have many clients yet. I was driving 2.5 hours each way on a commute to try to set up the office that I had started. And I remember one day driving down from Idaho Falls to Logan, Utah, and just feeling pretty discouraged. I was looking at my schedule. I had one appointment on the schedule, and I was going to be making cold calls to other therapists and things in the area to try to do some networking. And I remember just feeling this overwhelming sense of like hopelessness and weakness and failure. And as I got out of my car in the parking lot, I'm walking across this blacktop asphalt parking lot to where my office, little single one-room office was. And I just had this negative energy about me. And as I was walking across this parking lot, in the crack of the asphalt, there was a tiny little green weed with purple flowers growing up out of the crack of the asphalt. And as I was looking down, of course, because my head was down and I had some negativity going on, and I saw that, I stopped in my tracks and I just paused and I looked at that weed. And I thought, if this weed, through no fault of its own, just blown about by the wind, landed in the crack between the asphalt with almost no soil to grow in, is finding a way to grow, and not only grow, but to blossom, how beautiful of a metaphor is that for my life right now? I felt like I was kind of on the black asphalt in terms of where my career was at, in terms of what my business was doing, because it was brand new and I didn't have a lot of business yet. And yet I had planted myself in this place. I had decided to go out on my own and do my own business. And now here this thing was staring me back, and I paused for a moment and I took a deep breath, and I felt just this moment of complete gratitude that I had a little tiny moment where I got to see a weed growing up out of the asphalt with purple flowers, and that it meant something to me that I was in the same spot. And I paused and I said a little mental prayer to God, expressing my thanks to Him for that message that I had received that day, and then I went to work. It didn't change the fact that I only had one appointment that day, but I sure was grateful for that appointment because it meant I was going somewhere instead of only having one appointment, which meant that I was a failure. It shifted everything. What gratitude does is it allows us to find meaning and purpose inside of our challenges, which instantly puts us in the process of continued growth, which is one of those reasons why we're here on this earth. It brings us joy to know that we're growing. Gratitude is one of those ways that shifts our energy from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. It allows us to be able to see life from a different lens that gives us permission to have some different choices instead of feeling stuck. So here's a couple of things we can do to practice gratitude, you guys. The first one, I challenge my clients to do this all the time, is to get a little bit of a notebook somewhere and to try to write down at least one thing that you're grateful for every day, knowing you won't be perfect, but try to commit to writing down one thing you're grateful for every day without repeating yourself. And in doing that, it starts to churn into the habit of looking at all aspects of your life with a different angle of gratitude, where there is something in your day-to-day, even if it's a mundane day. Maybe you're sitting at your job right now in a cubicle doing the same mundane task that you've done every single day for the last 10 years, and you think it's just some normal habit pattern thing that doesn't have a lot of life to it. I would bet that if you paused for a minute and you looked around yourself and you thought for a second, you could find something that you were grateful for today. And when you thought about that with gratitude, it would increase the quality of your day to day. So try to do a journal, one thing every day that you're grateful for, and never repeat yourself. And you'll be surprised that over the course of months and then years, how many things in your life there are to be grateful for. Not the same things over and over again even, multiple different things. There are probably 1,000 things you could look at today, if you were creative, that you could have gratitude for. And with every item that you express that gratitude, it would increase your own happiness and your own pleasure in life. Gratitude has been mentioned to be the twin sister of humility. So when I'm in the act of practicing gratitude, I'm also connecting myself to the other principle of humility. And humility is an accurate knowledge of who I am in God's eyes, both positive and negative. So gratitude allows me to lean into my challenges with eyes that allow me to grow, and it allows me to express joy and have exquisite happiness for the strengths that I do have and for the positive things that are going on in my life. With both of those things, I increase the quality of my own life, and it allows me to be a better instrument in the ways that I want to be and that God wants me to be in the lives of other people. So a challenge for you guys today, go get yourselves a notebook or start a notepad on your phone and begin the process of a gratitude journal where you express something you're grateful for every day and never repeat yourselves, and see what it does to change your life. You guys have an awesome day. Thank you so much for being here with me. If you found this to be valuable for you, please hit the like and subscribe button. If you're facing particular struggles that you need help with or roadblocks that you're running into, please submit a question. I'd be happy to answer it for you.